players were back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come. What a crack!
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retro Motorsport. This week's show is full of drag racing from Masterson, Formula 5000s in the Lady Wigram Trophy from Ruapuna, and we replay for your pleasure the 2007 Rally Extreme round from Northland. First up, let's go drag racing. It's big horsepower, tyre smoking action from the 2008 Central Drag Racing Nationals at Masterson.
Welcome everyone to round 4 of the NZDRA National Series held at the Masterson Motorplex. This is the Trust House Central Nationals. If you have a look around, this is an operating airstrip being built to run drag racing on. So I've got to give credit to all of the drivers to adapt to the changing conditions of running on essentially what is an airstrip. Fantastic job, guys. It's been a hectic day of qualifying here. The big factor's been the weather. It was hot.
Yeah, stunningly hot. I heard on the news last night parts of the Wairarapa had tipped the scales at 40 degrees. We sat in a day of 34, 35 degrees. Makes it extremely tough for the drag racers themselves. Tough for the crowd, but tougher for these guys to race. The performance doesn't come back in the cars. They have to adapt to the track. The track gets very, very hot. Also causes problems within the vehicles themselves.
Gavin, in the area of top alcohol and top door salmon, they had a tough time of it.
Credit to the crews. Very, very fast times. 6-second passes, 230 plus miles an hour, and top alcohol, exciting stuff.
Coming down to the wire this season has been the closest championship alcohol's had for years.
Yeah, top alcohol being led by, of course, Todd Vincent, the 21-year-old young gun in top alcohol, leading the pack with a 6.09, a personal best for the team, and here at the Masterson Motorplex. Well, folks, here we are at the Trust House Central National. We've still got a full day of racing yet to go, so let's go drag racing. Now moving into our pro classes, top door slammers, heads up, no quarter asked, no quarter given. Oh, big burnouts from Mr. Door Slammer, Chris Tynan.
We've taken all the clutch out of the car, and we're just trying to get it to go down the track, and it's still slipping and sliding all the way down, so you've got to do a bit of steering. And of course, when it moves around 20 mile an hour, you're sort of like, you know, you're dancing really.
He gets the by run. Number 1 qualifier and revs up. A lot of tyre shake. Chris Tynan only knows one way to get down the racetrack. Smoke from the car. I think that was tyre smoke. Bracket car, 686, 202 mile an hour. Guys, you've just seen tyre shake, and boy, oh boy, it is pretty aggressive out there.
Yeah, well, it's a good probably 32 degrees plus, and, well, the track gets that hot, the rubber just can't stick onto the concrete, so it starts bubbling up. And for us, that when we drive over it, it tears that off, so we lose our traction and spins it up, and yeah, so it puts into a bit of trouble. It's good, probably 100 plus degrees Fahrenheit at the moment, and like you're only in there for 6 seconds, but by the time you're at the finish line, it's probably a good 130 Fahrenheit, because all the clutch and everything's pretty heated up in there.
We've got a thing that we put in the chili bin, and it's like a sock that goes around my neck. It's a bit tricky to put on because it's pretty cold.
Yeah.
And that helps a pile. It kind of dribbles all down your body.
Oh, you just got to be tough and put up with it, handle it. Sweat dripping in your eyes, you just got to don't worry about it. Yeah, toughen up.
Toughen up, bro.
You got to do it.
Ross Taylor now moving into stage, into lane 2 in the Wairarapa Building Society lane. Lane 1, the Trust House lane. Wayne Hussey, nitrous car.
Well, I think we're third in the points at the moment.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. There's this round and we've still got Auckland to go yet, so anything can happen.
Ross Taylor must bump in 10 seconds. And I tell you what, I think he's got problems. No, he's bumped in. Clean greens. Oh, and all hopes up. He's taken off in second gear. He has got problems. He's taken off in second gear or third gear. 790, 170. Hussey wins. 770. He's taken the win. Wayne Hussey. I tell you what, that has now busted the National Championship point stage wide open.
Probably a bit excited. Guys, do this. Been
Yeah, it's just one of those ageing moments for me.
Mike would have been in lane 2 in the Ferrari. Dave West and the Sinforce Lubricant Bad News Racing Team 58 Chev nitrous car.
Most of the other cars in our class are all fiberglass. They're probably 150 kilos lighter than this car, but this car's still with the original steel back guard, so we like it because it's an old nostalgia car and it's still an old 58 Chevy, you know.
Coming into stage now, just barely flicking the lights on. Both cars coming into stage, lots of revs. And the cars moved in the beams. I think he had a lot of problems, black smoke and the cars moving around. Winneveen pedaling the car as well. He's turned it off just after half track when 9.55. Dave West is currently number 4. And now he's out against a car that is well down in the points chase. Mike would have been barely just starting to run the car. Well, this is Castrol Edge, top alcohol.
Points are still open. The series is still open. I think the spread between the top 4 cars is less than 100 points.
Scott Miller's in stage in the little small block Ford power dragster, bringing the digger dragster into stage. Miller stages lane 2. Neil in stages lane 1. Shots, mixing up cylinders in the Nealon car. It is running out of fuel. The car has simply got mixing up cylinders everywhere. It went all wrong on the tune-up. John Nealon is, he has won 7-1-0 at 6 miles an hour. The mile an hour not meaning anything.
John Nealon, he really had to work hard to get that win off young Scott.
Morris McMillan side-by-side burnouts beside Todd Vincent in the Vincent family dragster. How about that?
It's a pretty reliable car. We've got the tune-up down and we're kind of banking on that to win us the championship. That we can keep going and run 6.2, 6.3s all day long, and hopefully if I keep my wits as a driver and don't lose it or red light, it'll be a good day's race and we can come through with the win.
Morris McMillan in the Scrap Palace alcohol funny car coming into stage in lane 2.
Currently running second in the points.
Todd Vincent, the young gun in top alcohol. You can see 3 number 1s on the side of that car. That's from Dad. McMillan, Todd Vincent. Vincent will get the automatic win. It's still going to be fast for Vincent as well. 6.09! 6.09 for Vincent. I think that's going to be a new track record.
Morris McMillan rolled the light.
Before the starter activated the trees, Todd Vincent will leapfrog him in terms of points in the next round.
6.09. Don't have a mile an hour for it because the timer wasn't working, but it was honking along. 186 to half track. It's about 6 mile and up in our personal best. So, man, that was one hell of a pass. If that was Fram, that was probably a 5-second pass right there.
Coming up now is CJ in the Varnon and Vasey top alcohol dragster, who is currently the number 1 points champion. Hey, that's looking good for me.
The track won't take the power that these cars are making, so you've just got to try and get the power to the ground as much as you can. You burn up the clutch pretty good doing it.
He was supposed to race Shane Lodge in the first round. Shane Lodge has not brought the car out. The car is broken. Solo with no Lodge, very excited. And a lot of tyre shake, revs it up in first gear. This is going to be quick as well. 6.27, 219 miles an hour. And it's a real shame that Shane Lodge couldn't front for the first round eliminations. The guys must be absolutely gutted to think they couldn't make the first round with engine damage.
It's based on a 1938 Chev coupe. Of course, this is where drag racing started. The old coupes back in the early days in the racing around the streets. And it's just something that I've always liked, and I enjoy watching those old style cars.
Wow, this is interesting here. Chris Sherman, I thought they were out further round there, up against Phil Webber. This does make a difference in the points here. If we look at Super Sedan, Phil Webber in second position, Massey Sherman. So the
0.1 reaction time for Sherman, 0.2 for Phil Webber. So Sherman on the start line and smoke out of the Escort. A lot of smoke out of the Escort. What's going to happen? He takes the win, a 9.86 on a 9.70.
Tell by the people that come and watch here, they just come up and I really appreciate seeing an old car still out on the track doing it, you know.
The nostalgia, yeah, we love the nostalgia racing. Yeah. Brand new dragster from the late 60s as well. I bought it about 20 years ago and had it ever since. Yeah, we just put a bit of fuel in it. Put the tyres up, away we go, you know.
This is Heads Up Racing, based on 9.9 seconds. Nostalgia in the old dragster, and it is Ross Windley running today. This is the old man chasing. He's not doing a bad job. Identical reaction times.
Yep, on the start line, 0.2 and a 10.01 win to Russell Lorimer in the Mustang against a 10.12 of Windley. So very, very close across the finish line, just 19 feet.
I've beaten this car up to death. I think it's something like 140 passes since I've had the cylinder heads off. So I've had a good run.
Andy's a good leader here. He's obviously confident, dialed in an 875.
Yeah, the car's definitely run that, but will it do it? Red lights.
Red
the
light
series
for
champion
Andy.
has red light in the pivotal round of the event. This now opens it wide open for all the other drivers in modified eliminator to pick up points in the first round.
Adrian Rivers, a .002 reaction time. He dialed in at 865.
He can put a feather in his cap. He's put out the national champion in the first round.
I've had a good run, but like all good runs, they come to an end.
Final of Supergas.
Chanel Dobson, the current #1 champion, into the final of Supergas again.
Yeah, reigning New Zealand champion, #1 on the side of the car. 600 cubes. Injection in there. Russell Lorimer. He's come up from the South Island, up from Timaru. Where is he in points? Well, currently running third behind Chanel Dobson.
Now this is the final of Supergas. These guys have reached their penultimate round. 0.3 reaction time for Lorimer, 0.24 for Dobson. I've got to say, it looks like from here that Lorimer's still in front of the Camaro, whether it is going to be a win. And Dobson takes a win, 994 against, get this, a 994. Both running identical ETs, 994 with a 5 for Dobson. She takes the win with a 994 with a 9 at 135 mile an hour from Lorimer. The margin of victory, just 88 thousandths of a second. What a great little Supergas race for the final. Big burnout from the small block Chevy powered Honda.
This is Group 2, so they run on indexes. In other words, you can go faster than the index. It's set for the car, and it gets adjusted as the car goes faster and faster in the index. Rob Kelly, another one, he's in the leading the point score. Rob Kelly will leave early. He's on a 912 index. Roger Pinamars on a 772.
Oh, brilliant reaction time from Kelly, a whole shot on the start line, but there's a lot of power on that Honda.
Coming close at him, though. It's a close race at the top end. Roger Binamar goes through, gets a win with an 8.165. This is our top street division.
Pretty much a street appearing car. That's about where it stops. Any motor, any combination, as long as it appears like a street car, doesn't have to be road legal.
Two old foes of drag racing. This is the final of Top Street. It is Roger Binamar up from Balclutha. Graham Bates from Lower Hutt in the Elf Oils PC Cresta. He's on a 782 index. Just 9 points. The difference between these two races.
This race will be decided on the finish line with a mile an hour. These two about 15 mile an hour difference. He's rolled the beams. Graham Bates has rolled the beams. He's red lit the car automatically on the start line and won't get anything before the starter hadn't had the chance to activate the switch. Binama takes the win with an 8.25.
Took too long to get into stage and the starter dropped the light. 10 seconds. Close call.
The semi-final of Top Door Slammer. Wayne Hussey's here. And there's 3 cars in the semi-final. Wayne Hussey has a bye into the final. How about that? He knows he's got a clean run. The first time the car's gone straight down the racetrack, 8.37.
So Wayne Hussey will be in the final against one of either of these two cars, Mike Witteveen and Chris Tynan, the 55 Chevrolet.
Oh, put your hands there, folks. Chris Tynan, traditional long, smoky burnout. Witteveen says, if you can do that, so can I. Chris Tynan's keen to get on with this race. This is semi-final time. He is behind Ross Taylor in the points. Ross Taylor didn't make it through the first round. Pre-stage on, waiting for Witteveen to come into stage. Tynan lane 1, Witteveen lane 2. clean reads and tied in big hole shot. A lot of tyre shake, the back of the car vibrating. Sideways through the traps and still Chris Tynan takes the win, 7.01 at no mile an hour. That's useful, but I'll tell you what, he was not getting off that. Wonder what all the commotion around the start line was. There is obviously small amounts of oil. Looks like it's been an ongoing issue for the team trying to trap the oil into the car.
Well, we've got some dramas. We've always been having dramas these last few things. We're getting the headers are starting to crack a little bit. The oil issue we've found, we've actually broken a couple of studs in the bottom of the diff housing. Of course, it's not holding the head in very tight, so that's where the oil's been spraying out from.
Round 4 of the National Series for the New Zealand Drag Racing Association.
I've got to say, I'm looking forward to this. The quickest guy here, 6.09 for Todd Vincent. Chris Johnson beside him would love to be the guy to take that away from him. Oh, nice side-by-side burnouts.
It's got to be a bit of a drive for both these guys into this headwind at the moment. I don't seriously expect that the ET's going to be super flash. I'd have to say with the wind over the aerofoil, it'll definitely push the back wheels down.
They'll have plenty of traction available. I tell you what, it is very, very breezy down there. These guys run a number. I tell you what, I'll actually be a danger because the track temperature is about 102 degrees. It's actually ideal at the moment. So semi-finals time for Castrol Edge Top Alcohol. Vernon and Vasey, Chris Johnson driving the Vernon and Vasey Top Alcohol dragster in lane 2. Todd Vincent and the Vincent family dragster lane 1. Into stage now for Castrol Edge Top Alcohol. This is going to be a great semi-final. Revs will come up. Stage and stage beams. Side by side, tyre shake both sides. Johnson out, but Todd Vincent on another big number. 6.14. 6.14 takes the win for Todd Vincent against a 6.32 at 2.17 miles an hour. The number's not world-shattering, but what great racing.
CJ just going around, a little bit of a drift in the big dragster, and probably that cost him.
The number's not world-shattering, but what great racing. I'm sure we're going to see another quick pass. Nealon knows he doesn't have to focus on getting to the final through a race, so he can make sure he hits the shift points. Semi-finals time again in Castrol Edge Alcohol. Nealon into stage. 1-4 soft on the start line.
Oh, he's pushing this car hard.
Oh, smoke at the top end of the track just as he buttoned it off. 6.32. 6.32.
Good pass. I don't know about the smoke at the top end. This crew could be thrashing. They've got an hour to get into a final, haven't they? The final will be decided by local man Gav Green from Featherston in the superb-looking Monaro. What a great-looking car. You see that venting nitrous oxide and the Goof Sherwin Pro Drill Quartermaster. Oh, the red light's all gone bad for Gav Green. Easy for Goof Sherwin, gets through to the final. 17 thousandths of a second under for a red light. Didn't need to do that. Just had a race 10-2 at 1.31. Goof Sherwin goes through, takes a win with a 9.72 miles an hour. Doesn't matter. All decided on the light, unfortunately. The final and Super Sedan will go down to a race between Bruce Cox and Chevy Claro and Goof Sherwin. This is the final of a comp bike. Chris Mackerel, it's on an index, this racing. It's not like DYO. The index for Chris Mackerel is an 8.04. I'll see what he's done. He's been going very, very fast, and he's run a best of an 8.8. Dean Veal is on an index of a 9.42. He's run a best of a 9.15. Mackerel's going to have to really push here to chase him down, lift the front wheels well. Alongside he comes Dean Veal, very close at the top end. Don't know who's going to take this. Veal gets the win in comp bike. He ran a 9.68 at 145 miles an hour. He was on an index of 9.42. Chris Mackerel was on an 8.04 index, ran an 8.48. Stunning race between him and Dean Veal. Good result for him. We've got no miles an hour. So in they go. Gerald Smith in lane number 2 will be doing the chase. And Jason Bond first wheels up. Oh, it's all gone wrong from Jason Bond. He's going to have to use everything he can. Gerald Smith's got to be looking here. But it's his for the winning to keep him in the points. Can Bondy come back at him? He's in front of Gerald Smith. They're off the gas. Jason Bond gets the win. Gerald Smith shut it down. 11.59. Bond takes the win here at the Central Nationals. Gerald Smith must have had problems.
But it's final time for Super Sedan.
468 big block Chev. Done a 10.0 at 135 mile an hour.
You drive it home?
No, got to put it on the trailer. I can't afford the gas.
And Bruce Cox thinking, well, if I can't be fast, I can certainly be very, very spectacular. 9.70 the Dolan for Sherwin and a 10.60 for Cox.
Yeah, you'll see the Chevy leave in lane 1 just first. 130 off the tree. Goes Sherman on a red light. Plank shakes his head. The kid got it all wrong at the wrong time. Bruce Cox has got the win, and that puts him back into the points. Really, really contested. Well, he ran through as well with a 10.63 at 123. Goose Sherman went too fast anyway. He went 9.68 on a 9.70 Dolan. Well, Cox gets the win. That is quite significant. Super Sedan at the 5th and final round of the New Zealand Drag Racing National Series is going to be very, very tight.
200 people around Chris Tynan's car trying to get the car to run.
Give it the nitrous and keep my foot in it and close my eyes.
All he has to do is turn on the green light, and Wayne Hussey has won top door slammer here at the Trust House Central Nationals.
A lot of nitrous oxide available for this car.
Wayne Hussey wins the top door slammer bracket there, and sideways. He's having a lot of fun out there, there's no doubt about that. 7.89, 175 mile an hour. And I tell you what, very, very sideways. Congratulations to the team. Wayne Hussey winning there. Wayne Hussey now number 3 coming into this event.
Well, he would have pushed just past Chris Tynan, ever closer to Ross Taylor.
Mary will be good.
So again, the championship being decided at the final race.
Ready, John? Hang on, they're not firing.
I don't care, start it.
So this is Castrol Edge Top Alcohol finals time, the last paired run of the day. And I tell you what, there's a lot of stake here. Whoever wins this will have 20 points. Oh, nice. Big side-by-side burnouts. Put your hands together, folks. This is going to be a great final. 6.0 is the best ET here from Todd Vincent. And a 6.14 in the semi-finals, a 7.1 from John Nealon.
John Nealon has some years on Todd Vincent, but he's been very sharp off the lights, young Vincent. He has recorded the fastest ET of the meeting.
We can see Mark Thomas bringing the digger.co.nz alcohol dragster into stage in lane 2 in the Wairarapa Building Society lane. Todd Vincent coming into stage in the Trust House lane. Revs will go up. Lots of revs on the start line from Vincent. Pre-stage and stage beams on. What a final this is going to be. Nealon out drives Vincent on the start line. Whole shots him on the start line. Identical 101s. Todd Vincent takes the win. 6.2 v 6.3. 6.2 to Todd Vincent at 220 mile an hour for Nealon with a 6.35.
John Nealon got the shot off the tree. He was last going in. 111 reaction time. Todd Vincent was slower. Look at the 60-foot time for Todd Vincent. He was there faster. 1.013. John Nealon with a 1.026 at half track. Vincent was already ahead at that point. I saw some of the fuel and that flashing off from John Nealon's car. I don't think it was quite there for him. He did everything he could. But at half track, he was already lagging a wee bit behind.
Absolutely fantastic final here at the Trust House Central Nationals.
They said I won, and oh man, that was the best race I've ever ridden in my life.
Side-by-side racing like that's the best outcome of it all. Doesn't matter who wins or loses.
Well, folks, it's been a fantastic day's racing here at the Trust House Central Nationals and culminating in a great, fantastic side-by-side run in Castrol Edge Top Alcohol. We're now leading into the final race of the NZDRA National Series.
It's going to be fast and furious, and points are at an absolute premium this meeting. Going to be something to look forward to.
Well, folks, that's it. We've wrapped up the Trust House Central Nationals here today. We'll see you at the NZDRA Nationals finals very, very soon.
Next up, we stay with the big horsepower. It's the 2010 Formula 5000 Lady Wigram Trophy meeting from Ruapuna.
Welcome to the coverage of the Lady Wigram Trophy Race. It's a series which is running throughout New Zealand for Formula 5000s. The interesting thing is that the trophy was first fought for in 1949 and has got some very, very famous names on it, such as Jim Clark, when the Formula 1 drivers would come over to contest it during our summer and the Northern Hemisphere's winter. It's been raced for such vehicles as Formula Fords as well as the old Tasman series cars. Now it's back to the Formula 5000s. Last year the trophy went to Kenny Smith in conditions which were absolutely atrocious because of very heavy rain and hail. He's on the pace again this year, getting second in the first race to Steve Ross, who's a new boy on the block. Bob Barker, Mayor of Christchurch, a huge event for the city and for the region.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? And I particularly like this event because it takes me back to my childhood days in Christchurch. And I was just looking down the winners list of the Lady Wigram Trophy race over the years, you know, and you look back and imagine these guys today knowing that one of the Formula 5000 guys gets his name on a trophy that has Sterling Moss, Bruce McLaren, Jim Clark, Jochen Rindt, and it goes on and on and on, all of the greatest names from the glory days, in my view, of the great formula racing around the world. So yeah, it's it's part of Cantabrian history.
Big thing for the nation, though. I mean, for the region to bring so many people in.
It is. Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it. Events are what drive a significant part of the local economy, and that's why at council level, you know, we've invested in a number of significant events, and we support many, many more right around the city. And it's because they bring people. It's your hotels, your motels, your restaurants, the transport businesses, the retail shops. But more than that, it's about having fun as well. I mean, we all work damn hard these days, so this is about the other things in life that we should be enjoying.
The council actually helps with the power-built motorway?
Well, council's very much involved in this, and you might recall a major issue over the last few years, increasingly so, has been neighbours and noise issues. And council significantly got into resolving that problem in the last year. It has invested a lot of money to make sure that we can protect the speedway, the raceway here, the track, because it's an essential part of the infrastructure. I don't think we've seen the potential of Ruapuna in terms of how it could generate more for our city, but I know that there are people working in the city who are very keen to see that happen, so I will watch with interest.
John Petrie, one of the sponsors of the Formula 5000, you have to cook your own lunch. That's a bit of a blow.
Yes, well, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm pleased to see everybody here eating it, so that's the main thing, isn't it? They haven't turned anything away yet, so they're either very, very hungry or it was good food.
Well, it'll be good food. I mean, a boy from Ashburton knows how to work a barbecue. Why involved with the Formula 5000s?
Oh, well, we've got a bit of petrol heads in our family, and the opportunity came to help move the 5000s around the country from Littleton over to here in their containers, and so we jumped at the opportunity to stay with it and help them do that.
Great bunch of people.
Oh, they're a really good bunch of people. David Abbott especially, because he gave Angus, my son, and I an opportunity to drive his car, and that was absolutely great.
Tell me what it's like. I mean, you normally drive a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, we do. Well, we got a little turbo car, and that goes pretty good, but 550 horsepower and right behind the seat vibrating away is something absolutely special.
These guys are super people?
Oh, super people, yeah, have to be. They're all petrol heads.
I was meaning supermen, really.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a trick to driving them, and I have to say that I didn't really push the car too hard when I was driving it, because it wasn't mine for a start off, and it's something really different to drive. But it was a great experience.
So what's your involvement? You obviously ship them all around the world, these cars.
Well, we do. More so locally, though, between New Zealand and Australia with the Trans-Tasman Series. It's a fit. We have a service which runs north and south across to Australia on a weekly basis, and it just seems to fit with the Formula 5000 Association.
These guys are superheroes, aren't they?
Well, they certainly are. They come from yesteryear, but they certainly have a huge following now, and it's growing.
And obviously your business is growing as well?
We certainly are. We're now number 2 in the world and climbing steadily.
Thank you for your association with the association.
We hope it will continue, and I'm sure it will.
Tell me about you and the series. You're doing the whole series?
Yeah, we are. We're doing the whole series. We've bought this new car. This is our second meeting in it. So, yeah, we're doing better than we could really expect.
Well, as a rookie, you must be very proud.
Yeah, I did the last season in an older car where, you know, they don't have the speed, obviously, of the newer ones. This season we've stepped up and, yeah. But, you know, we bought a good car and we got the help of Motorsport Solutions and a lot of my good friends, Roy McDonald and Toby Hughes, and, you know, you keep going.
Your name won the trophy at least a couple of times. How many times is it?
We've won it 3. So Murray McLaren just reminds me, if we want to be the 9th person ever to win it back-to-back, we have to go and win it, try and win it today.
Last year, absolutely atrocious conditions.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it last year. The car did everything right. But saying that, I'd rather it be fine.
Yeah, the other thing is you're no longer on the front of the grid. Is that a problem?
No, well, yesterday dicing with Steve, both of us didn't do a good time, which allowed someone behind to do a better time. And I just feel that maybe I should have dropped back and tried to come again, but I want to try and get up that grid a bit today. I want to be on the front row. It makes it easier if it's raining.
It does indeed, and the forecast is for a bit of a shower.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about that, but it will. Yeah.
After the break, our first look at the Formula 5000s with Steve Ross and Chris Hyde starting on pole. First race of 2 for the Sunday meeting. Obviously there was one yesterday on Saturday. Steve Ross taking that one out from Kenny Smith and Chris Hyde. This morning, conditions aren't too bad. They're not too hot, but it's definitely not raining as yet with the sou'wester as forecast, Cookie.
Yeah, it's good overhead conditions, so the track should be in quite good nick. There was a lot of oil went down yesterday, but it looks like it's been mopped up. They've got the start as they head out on, I think this one over 8 laps.
8 laps indeed of the 3.3 Ks circuit here at Powerbuilt Raceway in Christchurch.
Out of
Steve
turn
Ross
number
gets
2.
the first jump.
Look at that, those 2 McRae GM1s. Brilliant stuff, as you can see those 2 New Zealand constructed cars off the front, down through the pothole. They go, look at that. Nasty little bump there, isn't it? Down into the hairpin turn. And it is Steve Ross. He's done a lot of kilometres around this track. And big Mustangs and cars like that.
One of the Australian elephants disappearing off on the outside of the picture just obviously arrived far too quick and went very, very wide at the hairpin. Very tight hairpin here at Ruapuna.
That is, it's down to around about 50 kilometres an hour. Don't use first. They come down to second gear in their 5-speed gearbox, the DG 300 Hewlands. There they are, just sweeping around the Christchurch Casino carousel, rejoining the old part of the circuit. And it is Steve Ross from Dunedin who has grabbed a handy lead. He's driving the car that Chris Hyde won this series a couple of years back. Chris Hyde in a similar GM1 McRae. Oh, look at that. Steps the tail out.
Coming through there. Puff of blue smoke for the acceleration and just losing a little touch of grip there, but winding it back in again.
Superb power to weight ratio. The cars weigh around 600 kilograms and put out something in the vicinity of 600 brake horsepower. So that's a great power to weight ratio. There he is, Steve Ross. Down past the start finish, back down to turn 1 again. Looks like that was the big black molar up in 4th place there, Rob. One of our visitors from Auckland. But there's Chris Hyde, snap of the head as he changes up into 3rd gear, down through the pothole, heads out through the this very tricky part of the circuit. So get that corner right and you can make up a lot of ground. Kenny Smith, the maestro, there he is sitting back there in third place. Car number 4, the very strange looking Lola T430. Only 3 of those cars ever built, and they all reside in Christchurch. Kenny's is sort of on loan.
Exactly. Well, it's actually David Abbott's car, but it is Kenny's motor that's sitting just behind his head.
There they go, the front 3. Roger Williams, I think it is back there in 4th place, followed by another one of the black Lolas. Sefton Gibb, I think they're right there in the running, as is Ian Clements. All the Lola T332s, one of the most popular Formula 5000 cars that were ever built. Look at Chris Hyde getting into an out of shape. Now he'll be concerned that he is not holding on to the man from Dunedin, Steve Ross, and he's coming under a lot of pressure now, isn't he, from Kenny Smith?
Well, of course, this is the thing. He'll be fighting a rear guard action. He'll be trying to keep Kenny Smith at bay because he knows that in the race yesterday, in fact, that it was Kenny Smith who got second and he was third. That the car out front, it's a 1975 car. Sorry, 1973 car. So, like all of these McRaes, they're getting a bit long in the gearbox, for the want of a better term.
But they've been lovely restored, haven't they? And as I say, they are a better car than what they were back in the 1970s. I think they're a little bit like Grandad's axe, to tell you the truth, Rob. There's been new bits and pieces added all the way through. I don't think there's many parts out of them that would still go back to those days.
There it is, actually, as we said, it was built in 1973. Its debut was at Watkins Glen. So it started its career racing in the United States of America.
This is an ex-Evan Noyes car, if I recall. It was owned by a gentleman down in Queenstown for a couple of years, and it was his car. It was owned by him then when Chris Hyde won the series a couple of years back. All the entries in the Formula 5000 class powered by the 5-litre stock block Chevrolet engine, but many different types of induction. They all run aluminium cylinder heads, but there's many types of induction. There's slide plate injectors, there's carburetors, there's the 48 IDEA Webers and all sorts of things. It's, as I say, putting out something in the vicinity of 600 brake horsepower from the 5-litre stock block Chevrolet. Some good battles going on further down. I think we'll find the battle for about 4th, 5th and 6th really heating up too behind these front 3.
Some interesting wide lines as they come through. So as you say, little battles all the way down, but this is the battle that everybody's focusing on. It's first, second and third day. The trio who took out yesterday's race.
Well, Chris Hyde has closed right up too, hasn't he, on the race leader. Tony Richards goes through in his 332, and there's that good battle. There's one of the Matic, the back car in that group. There is a Matic from the 5000 from Australia, built by Frank Matic. There's your front 3 cars there, just joining the old part of the circuit through the first S-bend. And the front 3 staying the same, but boy, have they closed a lot on Steve Ross this time. Whether Steve slowed up or the other 2 have picked up the pace, it's hard to say.
It's interesting, of course, that this is a race for points, where in fact it's also a shakedown for the Lady Wycombe Trophy race, which will be raced later in this afternoon, because that's the one that they want to win. This one is very important as far as points are concerned. This afternoon's race is the one that they get the name on the trophy. It dates back to 1949 when it was first introduced.
Look at Chris Hyde. He's looking either way, both ways, to try and get past Steve Ross as they went under brakes there for turn 1. Out of turn 2, just a little short dab there. 2 left-handers as they head up through this little bit kinky bit as they go down into the pothole. You look at Chris Hyde. Down the inside of Steve Ross. He gets it well out of shape. Steve Ross tries to protect his line, but it's Chris Hyde who has the preferred line. Down the inside he comes, and it looks like he's picked up that front running. Steve Ross has to go wide, and this gives all the opportunities now to Kenny Smith. He couldn't capitalise, but here he comes.
Yes, he does. He comes through on the inside.
Steve Ross looks completely out of shape.
Kenny Smith, what is he, 68 or something, isn't he?
Incredible stuff, isn't it? Boy, he's always there, isn't he, looking for that opportunity. But Chris Hyde won the first round of this Formula 5000 Revival Series. There's 6 races in the series. They end up with at the Melbourne Grand Prix meeting in March of this year. And so all the points are cumulative from every race here. As Rob pointed out, the main race of the day, of course, the Lady Wycombe Trophy, the big race later on this afternoon, 20-odd laps. But this one is still counting the points, and Kenny Smith very, very keen because he scored no points at the opening round. He had a gearbox problem and was unable to start completely with a cracked gearbox casing, so Kenny would not be very happy about that. We're getting into some tail enders, I suggest here. That's Kerry Anderson from Auckland in the oldest car in the race, car number 8. That's a Lola T142. But here are the race leaders now, bearing down on some of the tail enders.
Blue flag will be being waved to let them know that
clouds of dust. Somebody's exited the stage right. The two black Lolas there, Tony Richards and Roger Williams, sitting in a good battle.
Back with the leaders, and it's still Chris Hyde. He was third in yesterday's race, remember, so he'll be wanting to get maximum points out of this one. And I'd suggest that it's really lovely to see a little McRae like that. That was Graham's first car that he actually built it in '73 and raced it himself.
That car is actually owned by Stuart Lush in Auckland, and Chris Hyde has it for the season. And he's doing a very fine job, as I say. He won all 3 races at the opening round, so he is the man to beat. He's come here with a lot of history. Chris used to be a driver instructor here at Powerbuilt, so he knows the track. There's no doubt about that. There's the checkered flag. And Chris Hyde, a very, very deserved win. Very narrowly, I think, just from Kenny Smith and from the Steve Ross at GM1 McRae as well.
So totally reversing the situation as far as the places were concerned. In the first race yesterday, it was Steve Ross with Kenny Smith second and Chris Hyde. This time it's Chris Hyde from Kenny Smith and Stephen Ross. Well, Chris, they changed the rules really from third up to first.
Yeah, it was a good result, wasn't it? We just took a wee while, like I said before. We needed a couple of laps for the tyres to come in. And saying that, the other McRae was doing the opposite of my theory. Steve went away and had a good run. I'm normally 3 laps ahead of myself, so I just waited for my tyres to come. My car's a longer wheelbase, so it takes a wee bit longer for the tyres to come in. And when it came in, Steve was going very, very fast, and I just was waiting for an opportunity to get a run onto him, and I did, coming up for the hairpin. As you can see, we had a good run on the inside. We gave each other enough room for it to be tidy. We didn't touch wheels, which is the good thing, and we got a good result. And then Kenny came in behind and was giving me a good hard charge, but I think we were all pacing ourselves for the big race. So in result, I got a good result, and I think everyone else. We broke the lap record as well, so my own lap record, so that's good.
They're mean races, and we were trying our best, but I just couldn't do it.
You held him out for a long time.
Yeah, I had a bit of a tyre issue in the end. My tyres went off, couldn't do much about it. But in saying that, they're both very experienced drivers.
But the thing is, you're learning the craft pretty fast. I mean, you've had a lot of experience in other classes, but you are learning fast.
Oh, it's racing's racing. But they aren't the easiest things to drive, that's for sure.
Tell me about the tyres. You've got something for the next race, which is a lot longer.
Oh yeah, with different tyres next time.
Kenny, 2 seconds. What are you going to do about these young guys?
Well, they're going to have to be punted out, I think, something like that. What do you reckon?
But it's close racing and it's really enjoyable.
Oh, it is. I mean, whether you win or you don't win. I mean, I've come in on both the races this weekend, and it's just like having to win any rate. You know, at least we'd stay with Chris and hunt him down, and that's all you need to do, isn't it? But I mean, the big race is open. I mean, it could be 1 of 4 people can win that, and we hope that we're one of them.
How's the car?
The car's good, but it's not 100%. It's a bit tail happy, and I just don't seem to be able to dial it out. I think it's a combination of the circuit from yesterday's oil, and it's just still a little bit greasy.
So there's nothing you can do to the car to lift it a wee bit?
Well, we might try softening it a whisker in the back and hope we don't go the wrong way, but it's always a gamble when you start that. If it rains, well then we don't have to worry about the setup, just who's bravest, that's all.
So the plans for the big race, it's just hunt them down, as you say?
Yeah, hunt them down, yeah.
Coming up next, the rolling start of the 2010 Lady Wigram Trophy Race. So the field all set for the start of the Lady Wickham Trophy race. A race that dates back to 1949 and has some names on it which are World Formula One record holders and championship holders.
Those were the days, yes, there were seven years that the Lady Wickham Trophy race competed for under the Formula 5000 rules. And it's great to see this huge field here today as I think they have got the green, and Kenny Smith very slow away from the third grid. Something in the wrong gear, I'd say, something there, Rob, so that's going to cost him plenty, and he needs these points, and he'd love to have his name on that trophy for the fourth time, of course.
Indeed, he's already had it on there for 3, as you suggest. So it's going to be Chris Hyde who leads them through this massively big field. 24 or 25 cars in the field. Steve Ross tucks right in behind him.
Well, Steve Ross has been not the surprise of the weekend, really, when you consider he's been around. Oh, there's a coming together. Sefton Gibb and Kenny Smith. And while these cars are a lot stronger than your modern Formula One car, they still don't like that sort of stuff on suspension uprights. But it is Chris Hyde, the local driver, of course, who was based here in Christchurch for many years, who comes off the carousel in front from Stephen Ross from Dunedin, Roger Williams from Auckland, and it looks like Ian Clements from Christchurch is slotted up in the 4th place.
Just thinking about that bang of wheels, I would suggest that Kenny could be in trouble later on, because I noticed that Sefton didn't come back out again.
Well, I think I just caught a glimpse of the car on the outside of the hairpin there, Rob, that is parked. Sefton Gibbs' car is parked. Kenny does appear to have continued on, but that's going to be it's going to be touch and go for him, I'd say that. But here they come down over the stripe for the first time of the 15-lap race. Of course, the old Lady Wigram used to be around about it was about 40-odd laps around that huge Wigram circuit. But now we're just racing for 15 laps over the 3.33 kilometre circuit here at Powerbuilt Raceway. But some of these guys, they only come out 2 or 3 times a year, and that's quite enough for them too. There's the Matic A50, the black car, just sitting back there in around about 6th place. So they come down to the hairpin again, down to 2nd gear, 50 kilometres an hour around this very, very tight turn. Great place for overtaking, for outbraking as they come down. Tony Richards there being haunted by the Matic, back in that battle for about 5th and 6th placing at the moment.
It's actually interesting that the Chris Hyde's car is actually in the same livery as it was in 1973.
Yes. Aaron Lewis, it is one of the Australian visitors driving the Matic. We see the field stringing out as they came down to the break for the hairpin as the leaders back onto the old part of the circuit, just working the S's, and that is Chris Hyde, looking very, very confident, isn't he? He won all 3 races at the first round. This is the 2nd round out of 6. Here he goes, down at the braking for the big sweeper to bring them back into the front straight again. And Roger Williams looking very ominous there in that black Lola, isn't he? Sitting up there in 3rd place, still no sign of Kenny Smith. Ian Clements, the driver who's been around in Christchurch for some years, driven Formula Fords and these Formula 5000s, is always there and abouts, isn't he? He's in the red and white Lola T332, sitting up there in 4th place.
Gives you a bit of an idea of the difference in speed between the top runners and the back markers, because obviously these cars do take a lot of very serious driving to make them go fast. Chris Hyde definitely in control at this point of the journey. Car number 22 on the McRae's.
Just a wee puff of blue, but I don't think there's anything too much to get worried about as he put the boot back into it coming out of this tight hairpin. There's another good battle. Couldn't quite pick up if it was Kenny or whether it was David Abbott in the Lola T430, just moving back up through the field again. The 2 very, very similar T430 Lolas.
That's Kenny Smith there.
That is Kenny Smith in car number 4.
Car number 16 is Brett Willis.
There's Chris Hyde again into the 2nd S bench. The McRae GM1, which is now built by Graham McRae from New Zealand. Very, very popular Formula 5000 car. And this particular car,
it went to Europe in 1973 with Graham McRae, and it's in exactly the same colours as he used it for the Rothmans European Championship.
Yes, in the Iberian Airlines colours, so quite remarkable, isn't it?
So it's been around the Mondella Park, it's been Snetterton, Oran Park, just about anywhere where there's been Formula 5000 races, that car's been.
Steve Ross from Dunedin, he had a bit of a dabble at the Formula 5000s last year in a very old, very much older Lola, but it certainly was a bit of a surprise to just how quick he was. But this car, this is the car that Chris Hyde won this series a couple of years back. So it's a well-proven car, and he is driving exceptionally well. He does know the track here at Powerbuilt pretty well. But as we say, Chris Hyde, same for Chris Hyde, as he was a driving instructor here for the Crawford Racing Drivers School for a number of years, and certainly knows his way around this complex. And he's still holding on to a good lead, looking in his mirrors, just checking to make sure just how far Steve Ross is back. Then Roger Williams from Pukekohe and that big black Lola.
And then Ian Clements makes out the top four. So it's interesting. Chris Hyde, obviously very much at ease with this car. But it's lovely to see two New Zealand-built McRae GM1s leading this Lady Wigram Trophy race.
Of course, Graham McRae handled the construction of these cars over to Leader after a couple of years, and they were built under license to McRae, and they were, I would suggest a lot of the cars that are racing here today were actually built by the Leader factory rather than hand-built by Graham himself. But they still bear the name, McRae, and that's what matters.
Well, he designed it.
He designed it.
So it's very interesting to see that so far away from the Lola factory and wherever around the world these cars were developed by major teams. It was New Zealanders with the Beggs and the McRaes that actually produced some very, very good cars that were able to take on the main teams. And
they were very strong, of course, in Australia as well, as we've noticed by the Matic sitting up there around about 5th place in the hands of Aaron Lewis. And that car, of course, built by the Australian motor racing driver Frank Matic. He and Graham McRae were great competitors and were forever perfecting their cars and trying to get the optimum package to outdo one another. The Matic was based around a McLaren, the M10B, which was one of the first Formula 5000 cars. Once again, that name coming to the fore is the McLaren, another New Zealand name there is. And they were very, very dominant in the early days of Formula 5000 racing. There he is, Chris Hyde, into the front straight again. He's going to reel off another lap with Steve Ross still keeping a watching brief, not too far back. And as we know, Steve, and there's one of the Elephants coming out of the pit area. He's had the call in the pits to get some melody looked at.
I think there was something wrong with the right-hand front, so it could have been a slight puncture, and he's coming to get that fixed.
The Elephants were built by Gary Cooper in Australia, out of South Australia, and they also ran in the Formula 5000s for a number of years. He built a lot of race cars. Down to the hip, and again, that's Chris Hyde, Steve Ross, Roger Williams, in that big black Lola, the T332. Did notice in the pits before the event that some of the T330s left still here. Most of them being uprated to T332s, but we do have right back to T142s competing in the race today. So great representation by Lola cars of the United Kingdom.
Just to put it into perspective, if we may, Dave Cook, that some of these cars, the price of them would range from $300,000 to $500,000.
And the rest.
And the rest.
If we look out there, we actually have a Chevron racing the Formula 5000 Chevron. That's Hamish Patterson from Helensville. It is the only one in the world. There is no other of that particular model Chevron. So the price of that car is, well, yeah, priceless. So yes, there'll be a lot of dollars around some of these cars. I can assure you of that.
Yet they're putting them out on the track there and driving them as though they are totally replaceable, which is absolutely fabulous for the fans.
It's great, isn't it? There goes Ian Clements, the local airline pilot. Ian has been around the Powerbuilt complex for a number of times too. He has raced Formula Fords and Formula 5000. This is his second Formula 5000. His first one is being driven today by Russell Greer from Blenheim, and I think you'd find he's probably up in the top 10 as well. A very fine rebuilt car again.
Steve Ross had to take two swings at that, two bites at that hairpin, so it's almost as though he was just lacking just a wee bit of concentration there. The blue flag is to say that there's faster cars coming through.
Well, that's Kerry Anderson in the older Lola T142, car number 8, and that car would be one of the very first Formula 5000 cars ever built anywhere. They as you can see by the very narrow tubular body shape of the car. They are a space frame car instead of a monocoque like the Lolas and the Crays. So they are certainly a piece of motor racing history.
Car number 22, Chris Hyde, still controlling this race from the front. Steve Ross not being able to do anything about him. And then a big gap back then to third and fourth, which of course is Roger Williams and Ian Clements.
Well, Roger Williams, I think, has lost some contact due to lap traffic there. They came across Kerry Anderson around the back in the technical part of the circuit, and that can certainly hold you up because it's a hard place to overtake. Kerry Anderson got out of the way, but it still can hold you up. We can look at that, we can see Ian Clements' closed up marker. Here's car number 18 with the brief glimpse of one of the bigs in this field. That is the FM4, still in the Winfield colours as it was raced by David Oxton.
He was actually mentioning a lot of names which are stalwarts of the single-seaters in New Zealand in the period of this, which of course is the 70s and early 80s. And it was absolutely amazing to see the competition, and it was top world-class motor racing in those days, and it's become that again, Boogie.
Oh, it is. It is definitely. This is a huge field, 25 cars here. From here they move on up to to Hampton Downs and Pukekohe. And for that big meet at Hampton Downs, I think there's over 40 of the Formula 5000 centre. I think there's a couple of Formula 1 cars in the field as well.
Yes, that's pretty, sorry, I was just going to say there's pretty little bag at the back there, that's the MF4.
Still some more McRae's going through. There's your race leader, and he's now starting to gap Stephen Ross, isn't he? Then Stephen Ross is also starting to get quite a sizable lead back to the back to Roger Williams and his Lola. So they are getting spaced out. There's Pete Burson just gone by in his McRae. There's your race leader now starting to get very much into lap traffic, and that's really where the experience of the likes of Chris Hyde starts to shine through, isn't it? He's done a lot of motor racing, so his experience in getting through the lap traffic, picking the gaps, really shines. And there he is going through the inside there of Pete Burson from Auckland with another one of the McRae's. Pete and Aaron Burson both running McRae GM1s here today. They've left the Talon, which is a McRae GM2. They've left that behind in Auckland. The family has 3 of these Formula 5000s, Rob.
I would dearly love to have a model of one.
Yeah. So there he goes, Chris Hyde, and he is making every post a winning post. The McRae GM1 looking superb as he went through the second S there, headed out down towards the big sweeping corner, which brings them round into the front straight here at the Powerbook complex. There he goes, looking supremely confident as he comes up behind another one of the Beggs. This is an FM2, and this is once again, this was built by George Begg down in Drummond.
He's in trouble. He is in trouble.
He's in trouble.
So
the car has faulted. That's quite, and Steve Ross has gone by into the lead. So Chris Hyde, it almost looks as if a fuel situation or something like that, didn't it?
Either fuel or electrics, I would think, because he was doing such a superb job, and it almost looked as though his engine started to cut out or something.
So this new leader, Steve Ross, he's now getting amongst this lap traffic, and we have a car into the tyre barriers.
That's Ken James.
Ken James, one of the Australian drivers.
In an Alphin. That's obviously an oil leak as Burson deflames. He's trapped in there. He can't get out. A lot of these cars, well, obviously there's not much in front of them, and it's very easy to have your feet trapped in there, and there was a thing called the Lola limp, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
With most people.
And there he is, Ken James, out of the car. Thankfully, safely. It looks like he has got ankle, or, as you said, Rob, the old Lola limp. These cars, oh dear, that has suffered a very heavy frontal impact, hasn't
I would suggest, Dave Cook, that those stripes from the back wheels, where everything was locked up, I would say that his throttle probably jammed wide open.
Something like that, yes. Steve Ross now takes up the front running. There was quite a delay we had while the cars were held in the Park Ferme situation on the grid, and looks like Chris Hyde has recovered from whatever was wrong with the car, but I'm not too sure whether there wasn't a battery change done while the cars were held in Parc Ferme, Rob.
We've just heard actually from the organisers that in fact he's likely to be penalised, and they are looking at it because they were interfering with the car, and as you say, in a Parc Ferme situation, he should have gone into the pits if they were going to work on the car and start from the back of the field again. So there is a big question mark hanging over this man, Chris Hyde.
So there they go, the field streaming back down after the restart. Of this 15 lappers, another car that's just struck problems. I think that it's one of the Lolas. I think it might be Russell Greer from, it is Russell Greer from Blenheim. That car number 14 is the ex-Graham McRae car, and this huge wind has just picked up across the car-built.
I think it's fair to say that the wind has swung to the southwest.
Well, we were so used to it, weren't we, Rob, in the days of the Lady Wigram being held at the Wigram Air Force Base and having 4 seasons in one day.
Exactly.
There's nothing we haven't seen before, but yes, we have heard that Chris Hyde is facing a penalty for changing the battery on this car.
For interfering with it.
And that would explain why the car faltered in the closing, in those last few laps before the flag came out. But I'd say he's still got a problem, Rob, because we've seen Steve Ross now go up and go past him. Roger Williams still hanging in there in his that black Lola. The man from Drury still right in there, isn't he? And
also, it's interesting just to see how quickly that Chris Hyde is sort of falling back. I think there's definitely an electrical problem still.
Yeah, and here comes Roger Williams down the inside.
Chris Hyde knows he can't do anything about it.
He just squeezes him way by, doesn't he? There's nothing at all Chris Hyde can do about it, as you say. Roger Williams moves up into second place. He sets out after our race leader. There can't be too many laps left in this one. Ian Clements back there in fourth place now. He'll be on the tail pretty soon of Chris Hyde as they head round the carousel. He'll coming off the carousel now. It is Steve Ross from Dunedin. But Roger Williams looking very, very racy indeed, isn't he? Up into second place now. It looks like he might have been conserving tyres till his last few laps and making a late charge.
Certainly making a late charge. Under braking there was moved right up underneath him on the sweeper. Cloud of dust as they just go slightly wide.
Just uses all the track a bit more.
Ian Clements coming through very, very quickly in third spot as well.
Well, as you say, Chris Hyde drifting back down through the field now very quickly. He's just got another placing.
Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with the electrics in that car.
To that lovely little march.
It's been interesting because the Hyde team have been push starting that car all day, so I think they've been aware that there has been a problem. Look at this move down here. Very, very slick little move down through the hairpin. Magnificent piece of late braking, twitching the car like mad, but it works very well, and Steve Ross now falls back into second spot, and obviously Roger Williams from Drury, as you say, now leading the Lady Wigram Trophy race. There's Chris Hyde, he's pulling out, he's had enough.
Chris Hyde, arm up in the air, definitely have problems. There's John McKinley just gone by him in the lovely little march, and Chris Hyde, he will be gutted. He would have loved to have had that name on the trophy. He and his father, Avon Hyde, of course, been around mud racing for many years in Canterbury, and it would have been absolutely tremendous to have the name Hyde on that Lady Wigram Trophy. But it doesn't look to be at the moment, because Roger Williams from Drury has assumed the lead, but Steve Ross is not letting him get away with it, is he?
Absolutely not. Still very, very close after, about 13 or so laps. Still very close indeed for first and second. And I'd say that Steve Ross is going to make a charge. That's Peter Dunn from the UK, based in Monaco. That's another interesting car. There are only 3 of those ever built.
Yes, the March 73A, the March factory decided to get into the Formula 5000 brigade along with everybody else, but certainly weren't that successful at it.
Back to the leaders. It's Roger Williams. Steve Ross pushing him as hard as he possibly can in the McRae.
Certainly not letting him get away, and as we say, the third place now in Clements, and I think he might have a history of this. They're picking up third place at the Lady Wigram Trophy. So he goes, just working those, they're working that series of S-bends. They come down onto the carousel, and meanwhile that wind howls through here, which won't be helping these guys with these big wings on the back of these cars, particularly on the long straightaway here. They reach something in the vicinity of 280 kilometres an hour 280, 290 kilometres an hour in fifth gear at the top end of the front straight. So they are certainly getting around here at a fair clip.
You can see from the flags that the wind is certainly very, very strong, and I can assure you it's got very cold here at Powerbolt. In fact, it will actually be affecting everybody. You can see the crowd have all disappeared and got wrapped up and come back out again.
You see the Mac sitting in the pit gate as well. Another one of the... well, Steve Ross was certainly getting very, very demanding, wasn't he, of that first position. Look at he's right on the hammer of Roger Williams. I think Steve thought a couple of laps ago he hadn't left enough room for Steve Ross to Roger Williams to get down the inside, but he had. So Roger Williams has grabbed that opportunity, and now it's really Steve Ross trying everything he can to get back past that big black Lola. Certainly brings the memories back of the 1970s, of watching the Lolas and McRae's race against one another all around New Zealand and Australia, and of course the United States, as Graham McRae, very successful in the States, won the L&M Championship over there in his own car, and competed for many years, of course, in UK as well.
Slightly slowed down, I guess, because there's a yellow flag at the start-finish line, which means that there's no passing from there through to turn 1. So
that does take a lot of opportunities out, doesn't it? Because that's where Steve Ross has been looking very, very ominous. And it's Steve Ross, he's gone awfully wide. Yes, he quickly recovers, but that's thrown out of your challenges this time down the front straight.
And there's the checkered flag. So the Lady Wigram Trophy race for 2010 will have engraved upon it Roger Williams, second, Steve Ross, third, Ian Clements, and Aaron Burson will be coming in fourth. An absolutely amazing drive. A case of sitting and waiting, but look how jubilant Roger Williams is. He sat and waited, Dave Cook, didn't he? Took an opportunity, a magnificent manoeuvre at the hairpin. And basically a very, very well-deserved win for the 2010 Christchurch Casino Lady Wigram Trophy race.
Spinning on the first yesterday didn't help much, but we just hung in there, and a 15-lap race on one of these cars is an awful long time, so you just have to be patient, and if opportunities arise, you just take them.
Thank you very much, Roger. We now have the laurel wreath, as all winners of the Lady Wigram Trophy race were presented with. So there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll ask the three drivers to take their places on the podium. Steve, you'd like to take up the number 2 spot there. Ian Clements, the number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, can you put your hands together, please? Ian Clements, number 3. Steve Ross in number 2, and of course Roger Williams from Drury in the number 1 spot.
So Roger Williams takes out not only the podium, but a place in history, winning the 2010 Lady Wigram Trophy. Any day you'd rather forget?
Oh, shocking. I mean, it was my own fault off the start. Chris kept the start too slow, in my opinion. It was second gear instead of third, and when I clipped it to third, I ended up in top, and of course everybody went past. But I was confident I could have got it back up to third and then wait for a yellow or red flag or something to help me get me up again. But I took Sefton on the outside at the hairpin, but somebody came down the other side of him with a black car, I don't know who it was, and T-boned him and threw him into me. So that's sort of what did it. Bent the wheels on the left side, but broken upright. Well, the upright must have been hanging there half off, because every time I was lapping around there with it like that, it was squealing tyres, so she was on some weird old angle. But thank Christ it broke up there and not in the wrong place.
You back next year?
Yeah, of course I'll be back. Can't give this away. I need that Wigram, and it just annoyed me. It was there for the taking today.
You obviously saw the race. It had its moments. There was some pretty close racing in there.
Yep. So I know Chris Hyde will be cheesed because he had a misfiring engine, and then...
That was the black trick on.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then I see them doing something on the grid, and I thought, well, hey, you won't be a winner now, mate.
You'll be all fixed up for Hampton Downs?
Yeah, no, we could have that going in an hour if there was another race on. You want to put the race on again?
Why not?
Yeah, good on you. But anyway, thanks for everything. I enjoy coming down here. It's a magic meeting. It's a magic class.
Yeah, we had pace and we had a really quick car, and then the guys did a really great job. But the battery drained the MSD in it, which was an electrical issue, so the car kept on shutting off, and it wasn't our day. And Roger Williams, brilliant. So I was so pleased for Roger, and Steve Ross was going real quick as well, but we just had no power through the engine, and it shut off, and it was absolutely, words can't describe how heartbreaking it was. I can't believe how upset it is, but we've had a good run, so we're lucky. And we're still leading the championship, and we broke the lap record, so we're happy enough.
It was a really good race. It's hard to describe what it feels like to win a race like that, but it was really good.
Walk us through it. What happened?
Pretty normal. Ken speared off for some reason. A few other people dropped out. Just hanging there. The red flag came. Chris had already slowed down by then, so I knew that all I had to do was catch up to the yellow McRae, and then once I did that and worked out a strategy, I just made a move.
Tell us about your car, because it's pretty famous.
It is. It's a car that was raced in America by a guy called PJ Swanson. Unfortunately, he had a little accident and killed himself in it, and then it got bought by the Ted Field Interscope team and raced with Danny Ongaius driving for the 74-75 season. Sat in a workshop or in a garage, I think it was actually in a container for about 30 years, and Shane Windleborn brought it back to New Zealand and rebuilt it for me.
And how long have you had it?
2 years.
And what to from now? What else can you achieve in it?
There's always the Australian Grand Prix, but I'm not really, what happens is the day or the weekend unfolds, right? And sometimes it unfolds in your favour and other times it doesn't. So, it's just, you just got to take it when you get it and savour it.
Where you were in the points now?
I don't know, I don't really care.
So the Lady Wigham Trophy race once again provides a day of drama and upset for some and triumph for others. Obviously, some of these cars take a lot of punishment when they go out there, but the feeling and the exuberance of the winner to get their name on that trophy is absolutely astounding. The weather, well, we had northeasterlies, we had hot nor'westers, and now it's exceedingly cold sou'wester, but the good thing is the rain didn't come.
After that high horsepower action, it's time to go rallying. We're waiting for our new stock of rally programs to arrive, so in the meantime, here's a replay, the 2007 Rally Extreme Series round from Northland.
So after a busy and exciting season, the stage was set for a grand finale. Pai here in the beautiful Bay of Islands was a fitting venue for the finale of the 2007 Rally Extreme Challenge. After the first race in the final series, L800 Boxman Rally of Nelson, a lot of the South Island cars now no longer in contention for the title did not travel north. And also a late withdrawal with the Clendons of Manawatu. After his win in round one of the finals, Christchurch's Jeff Judd had everything to play for. Now more used to his new car, his ambitions were to secure the championship and win the rally. But the scare in stage one, resulting in extensive damage to the rear of the Hankook Subaru, meant the Christchurch pairing of Judd and co-driver Marty Stevenson decided it was all about the title and backed off. Judd had finished fifth in his first attempt at Rally Extreme behind champions Derek Asen, Callum McGuinness, Robbie Lester and Malcolm Stewart. But But this year, the campaign had been much more focused, and with a new car for the finals and no Regan Ross, this was a huge opportunity for the Christchurch veterans. When the diff cried enough in Special Stage 5 at Nelson, any hopes of winning the series were gone for Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation. They came to the Cropthorne Resort Rally of the Far North to win and got off to a great start. First in one and seconds and thirds meant by the service and lunch break, they were in the front. Another North Island driver who had returned from Nelson empty-handed was Howard's Matthew Jensen. Turbo problems ending his charge in Nelson. And it was mechanical problems in the early going that hampered the Santa Rosa Chicken-sponsored Mitsubishi. He came good in 4 when he won the longest stage of the event, the Orangaroa test at 47 kilometres. The fightback had begun. The find of this season's Rally Extreme Challenge in 4-wheel drive must be Cameron Cox, one of the few North Island cars who didn't have trouble in Nelson. Anton Meyer picked up 23 valuable points at Nelson, and with the South Island competitors struggling on the tight, twisty, cambered Far North roads, Meyer and co-driver Dave Davenport, who was in a battle with Jeff Judd's co-pilot, co-driver honours, were exactly where they needed to be, third overall at the halfway. Brendan Oakton had showed the commitment necessary to excel, and he and the team rebuilt the car for this series after an early season crash. And it was the never say die. So after a busy and exciting season, the stage was set for a grand finale. Pai here in the beautiful Bay of Islands was a fitting venue for the finale of the 2007 Rally Extreme Challenge. After the first race in the final series, L800 Boxman Rally of Nelson, a lot of the South Island cars now no longer in contention for the title did not travel north. And also a late withdrawal with the Clendons of Manawatu. After his win in round 1 of the finals, Christchurch's Jeff Judd had everything to play for. Now more used to his new car, his ambitions were to secure the championship and win the rally. But the scare in stage 1, resulting in extensive damage to the rear of the Hankook Subaru, meant the Christchurch pairing of Judd and co-driver Marty Stevenson decided it was all about the title and backed off. Judd had finished 5th in his first attempt at Rally Extreme behind champions Derek Asen, Callum McGuinness, Robbie Lester and Malcolm Stewart. But this year, the campaign had been much more focused, and with a new car for the finals and no Regan Ross, this was a huge opportunity for the Christchurch veterans. When the diff cried enough in Special Stage 5 at Nelson, any hopes of winning the series were gone for Kingsley Jones and Waverley Nation. They came to the Cropthorne Resort Rally of the Far North to win and got off to a great start. First in 1 and seconds and thirds meant by the service and lunch break, they were in the front. Another North Island driver who had returned from Nelson empty-handed was Howard's Matthew Jensen. Turbo problems ending his charge in Nelson. And it was mechanical problems in the early going that hampered the Santa Rosa Chicken-sponsored Mitsubishi. He came good in 4 when he won the longest stage of the event, the Orangaroa test at 47 kilometres. The fightback had begun. The find of this season's Rally Extreme Challenge in 4-wheel drive must be Cameron Cox, one of the few North Island cars who didn't have trouble in Nelson. Anton Meyer picked up 23 valuable points at Nelson, and with the South Island competitors struggling on the tight, twisty, cambered Far North roads, Meyer and co-driver Dave Davenport, who was in a battle with Jeff Judd's co-pilot, co-driver honours, were exactly where they needed to be, third overall at the halfway. Brendan Oakton had showed the commitment necessary to excel, and he and the team rebuilt the car for this series after an early season crash. And it was the never say die attitude that helped them when they lost 12 minutes in stage 1 at Nelson, but still finished, picking up 14 valuable points. Les Somerville has won major titles before. He's a past Mainland Series champion, and with great performance on nearly home roads, was in a position to do it again. As usual, it was a cautious start for the Cantab. At the halfway stage, he and Matt King held 6th. The shock at Nelson with the troubles for perennial 2-wheel drive frontrunner Grant Liston. Shock absorber problems slowed him in the South Island, and it was a mystery ailment that slowed him here in the north. Seeded first 2-wheel drive car on the road by halfway, they were where they had been at Nelson, back in third, chasing David Wright and Craig Stevens. Craig Stevens had started the Copthorne Resort Rally fast, taking 2-wheel drive honours in stage 1, Kohu at 19.73 kilometres, and one of the toughest of the rallies, complete with a 5-kilometre hill climb and blind brows and scary drop-offs. Perhaps the wrong rear diff ratio had cost him the chance of running with his rivals David Wright and Grant Liston at Nelson. But here in Pai here, he was not just running with them, but in the early going, he was outrunning them. As well as the overalls in class, there were co-drivers' titles to be won as well, and Craig Stevens' partner Chris Alexander was the front runner, having competed every round in the Vogland Escort. For David Wright and Dana Brooks, what had been a season of developmental blues had turned round to Nelson. With the transmission problems now a memory, and coming off the Nelson victory, Wright's performance here in the north was incredible. Second overall in the treacherous Diggers Pass, a sign of things to come. The sleepy far north town of Kaikoui was woken up as the extreme field headed to service. As each of the top teams pits, the intensity was evident. For some, the title was on their minds. None more so than Jeff Judd's team and Northland's favourite son Brendan Oakton. For others, like Kingsley Jones, the title was gone, but the win could be his for the taking. No matter what happened, the afternoon was sure to be interesting and full of surprises. So the final stage was set. At the end, a title and a championship. After 4 qualifiers in each island and the Nelson final, it had all come down to this. After curing the early morning mechanical gremlins, Matt Jensen had taken stage 3 and 4, and in the afternoon, stages 5 and 6. This moved him up the leaderboard, but then a 7th and 7 and a 9th and a 10th in the final 2 meant 10th overall finish for the day and 7th for the series. Craig Stevens' early morning charge hadn't stalled, it's just that his opposition got better. As you can see here from our onboard shots by the rev limiter light blinking, he was trying and giving the Escort all it could handle. Their results over the series and those of Dean Buse before him showed that there is still a place for a 30-plus-year-old car in New Zealand rallying and Rally Extreme. The fact the car is an iconic BDA Escort doesn't hurt either. Third on the day and third for the series. After being the dominant two-wheel drive competitor for the last 2 years and a top competitor for many more, Grant Liston and Rob Scott could only manage second in class. That and another second at the fifth final of the 0800 Boxman Rally of Nelson meant the champ was dethroned. Fourth in the points heading to the far north, Cam Cox and co-driver Michael Lawton needed a good afternoon's run and some luck to have a shot at the title. A slow start to the rally cost appearing, and even though they carded a couple of thirds in 6 and 7 and a 4th and 8, their luck deserted them again. 7th for the day and 5th for the series. The Rangiora led Summerfield and co-driver Matthew King. A cautious start and an eye on the main prize, the series title, may have cost them in the far north. The Castrol subby made a move in 4, moving up 3 spots to 6th. And as the weather changed in the afternoon, the kit tabs went into survival mode.
We hope you enjoyed the show, and you can catch back episodes of Retro Motorsport on our YouTube channel, Sky Channel 83. See you next week.
Straight to the barriers and through the smoke we come.